Hello everybody. The astrology report for the next week, beginning from today until the next Sunday. There's going to be a lot of going on. A lot of going on happened in the past week, which is lead us of continue the journey of this week. This week is going to be a very interesting, specifically in the mid of the week, Thursday, Friday, on it, and it's going to be related to one thing, basically divine timing. There's going to be some when the moon shifts, it's creates a specific things that you're going to be kind of like a focus on it. You're going to be working on it, and to remind you that astrology is about the magnetic field. It's about the gravitation, and since we are in this gravitation magnetic field, that's what the energy is, and that's what astrology is into it. If you're more interested kind of about your own, how that's actually, you may have to go ahead and learn astrology yourself and take a look at your chart, begin to understand what the planets mean. And there is so many aspects of astrology. You can look at a business, you can look at a medical, esoterical, solar astrology, and so on and so on into. But this week it's about one thing, that is about divine timing. So I'll put a one quote for you here before we begin. Life is easier when you surrender to divine timing. A lot of the people have impatience of the things that they want to have in life, and when they try to push it forward, they focus. They see this resistance. It's like the things that don't happen naturally. They try to force the things, and the things has to happen on divine timing. If you see the vision, if you see the your personal things coming up into it, there is this thing that a lot of the people, they don't kind of like recognize. It's called divine timing. Everything has to happen in its time and space when it's meant to be. So to begin with the astrology report of it, this is what it's looks today into. We have some intense energy, which is kind of like most of it. Depends of how you work, depends of how you operate into. I think that's going to be a little bit better, so you can see it. As you see it today, the moon is in Aries. It's about 17 degrees opposing the sun of 19 degrees, and just a little bit, maybe even right now, you're going to feel that energy of complete opposition. And that is the part that I was talking, that you're going to see the things of the backside. If you see the moon, that means that you only see the one side of the moon, the side that it's shined by the sun. If you go on the other side of the moon, you're going to see the dark side of the moon, that it's not exposed. Now, since you see it before and you see it in the back, now you have completely full picture of the things that goes on, and what you're going to see may not gonna like it into. Just to remind you, this is a cardinal changes. The sun, it's in Libra. Mars is also in Libra. We're going to be talking about this later on into, and we're looking at that the moon right now, it's just squaring Saturn and Pluto with the sun, that opposition. This can affect you, that you have a lot of limitations. You can see a lot of the things that you wanted to have. You may think that your Pluto creation or your surrounding of people around you, it's like you don't get any help. You kind of like fighting on your own. Yes, you gotta fight on your own. Nobody has to fight your own fight, but you need to understand that you have to don't go against the force field that it's created. It is what it is. That's what the field is. So you can use here, in order you to look at it and understand. A very good thing today is to look this trine with Jupiter, which is to growth, it's to express yourself, and then the Jupiter through the sextile with the sun will go ahead and reconnect you to outgrow your own ego, you to grow out your own way, which is that's what the moon in Aries will do. It's igniting that you have to be on my own, you have to be in my own way. it has to be the thing that I want to, and doesn't matter what I have to do, that you have to do what I have to do. This can create a lot of problems, a lot of damages, so be careful with this. Into the angers, and you can create a lot of ego-based actions, which is they cannot be leading to nothing no good. Into tomorrow. Tomorrow we're not going to have this here with Pluto and Saturn, but we are going to have this opposition towards the Sun. Is still going to be going on. Venus and Mercury. To remind you, Venus is in Scorpio. It's on a physical level. It's an exile. The love, it's going to be going out of the way. Mercury, since it's in a Scorpio, you may gonna feel like talking and saying crap, and you're gonna say things that you never wish you said it before. Into, but that is gonna be intense energy, since the moon, it's going to be moving into Taurus. That's going to be thinking about, okay, I want this for me now. I want this material stuff for me. I want this position. I want this money. I want this house. I want this car. I want this person to react like this so I can get what I want. And since that the moon, it goes close to Uranus, this energy is going to be very effective on Monday. Be careful what do you do and how you do it, and what are you saying, and what is your actions are. um, Mars will square Pluto, and you may gonna have this masculine side against the people who are you surrounding with. So my personal suggestion is keep your kind of like things behind your teeth, and let the universe does its job. Into, not to be so much opposing the things that they're not getting into you. As the sun is squaring Pluto and Saturn, you're gonna feel like limitations of your relationships, and you are not with the right people. Yes, that is it to tell you that you may have to prepare yourself of removing the people who are kind of like suck up the life out of you, the people who are into it, so you can be able to have this free. And that's going to be the growth right here between the Sun and Jupiter. It's going to be a very, very much into it. To remind you that all these actions see happens into what's called the Via Combusta, or the Burnet Road. That is the time when you burn the things that don't exist anymore in life. It begins from, some say, from 13 degrees to 13 degrees Scorpio, or 15 degrees to 15 degrees Scorpio. It's still, the planets are in there, into it, on that burning road. And this is the time when you have to burn the past. You have to burn the things that they don't compare to you anymore. They don't need you anymore in your life. On the physical level, this is the time when you collect all the leaves, you burn them up, you collect all the dead plants, and you kind of like put them on a side. So when a spring comes, then you're going to burn them up so they can be, go ahead and use them as a fertilizer, and so on. But that is that period. And on esoteric astrology, that is the time when you actually do your self-evaluation, realization, what is good, what is bad for your life. Whatever it's bad, you have to be going out, you have to be removed. That's what that energy feels will help you if you focus on what is bad for you, and you get it off. Into, on Tuesday, the moon, it's already going to be passing um, Uranus. You're gonna see this energy is releasing, and now, since you understand the things, you're gonna be have this trine with Saturn. That's gonna find the solutions for your limitations. You're gonna outgrow the things. You're gonna focus on what you need to fix in the material world, how it needs to be happen. It's gonna be this sextile with Neptune, which is going to give you the visions about everything that have to be fixed, how to be fixed, and what is the proper actions to be. on it, since the moon is going to be in Taurus, which is his actions with love, to have the material things into. Um, the very good aspect that's going to be happening here, it's Neptune is going to be give this water trine into Venus and Mercury, and right here it's going to begin to have the inner vision, since Neptune it's retrograde in the soul, what you have to do in order to fix your love life and how you to fix your communications with others into. Since they're in a Scorpio, they're going into the underworld. That is the time when you see the bad things in there. The dark side of the moon is going to help you. It's like, okay, see the darkness of the people, how they use you, how they abuse you, how they are attached to you, how they suck the life out of you, how they're acting like a kids that they always want the attention instead of giving you peace. When you give them the attention, is the attention when you want to give it to them, when it's the right time into. That's gonna also triggers for some of you the dependency. You're dependent on someone. You have to understand you're depending on yourself. How others reacting about you, it is entirely up to you. Wednesday. On Wednesday, as you see, the energy is a little different right now, but these positions up here, those visions, they're gonna still coming up, which is a very good part. You're gonna be continue working on this. You're gonna be continue want to have these visions of fixing your life the way it has to be fixed so you can have a better life. But the beginning of the life begins in the soul, and that's why Neptune is gonna be given this soul evolution. The moon is gonna be pretty much exiting Taurus into, but she's gonna give these emotions, these vibrations here to Pluto, to tell your Pluto creationists, you know what? You guys give me all advices, you guys give me everything. I appreciate everything there right now, but now it's the time. I have to do my inner work. I have to do the changes so I can have a better life. Into it. Thank you for your advices, but I need to listen my soul. And this right here is going to be affecting the talk. If you have a partner, this is going to be the time that you need to have the naked talk with people, when you actually are completely honest of everything that goes on in life into. That is the time that it's going to be very productive if you overcome your fears and your limitations and you do this talk. It's time to be real. Don't be the person who just wants to do things just so they can fit in your life. And the evolution is a one-on soul process, what you just said. It's not a quick fix. It's not a 5-day workshop. It's a lifetime process where we let go, discover, and then allow the futures to come into existence. There is this part of inside of you that you have to look deep, and that's what's coming up for what's going on Thursday and Friday into it. And before I begin with this, you need to understand this process is not like your soul evolution doesn't take a day. It doesn't take a workshops. It doesn't take a lot of things. It has to take an actions that you comes in depending of your soul, because that's how you're gonna be feel more complete. When you didn't do the things from your soul, when you know it, then the things that they're gonna bother you all the time, because the soul is gonna whisper you all the time. Hey, you should have done this. Hey, you should have done this better. You could have acted better. You could have said better words. You can act it differently. Don't be a selfish. See what you did. You missed that opportunity, and it's gonna create that little guilt inside of you. And some of you is gonna be going in through that previous periods in life, and you're gonna look at it, that guilt inside of you. So here is, it's Thursday. The moon is going into Gemini, and when it's in Gemini, that is the time when you see yourself with others, your relationship with others. The Gemini, it's the third year of your life, this is the time when you go to the daycare and you see someone like you. Also, it's related to the 16-year-old. That is the time when um, you go ahead and, I'm sorry, to the 15-year-old, that you go ahead and see the first time someone like you. This is the first time when you're trying to get a relationship with a boyfriend, girlfriend, that it's more real into. You learn how to have those communications into. As you see, the moon will trine Mars. Mars is squaring Pluto, so gotta be very careful at this position of how you're gonna be reacting towards your partner, towards your partnership. You may have a husband, wife, whatever the story is, into. You gotta be very careful for how you're expressing this about your relationship, since Mars is in Libra, which is a relationship and partnership, and there. The other things that is kind of like important right here into uh, trust as visions that you have. They're gonna be going on for a while into, and those visions of how you should react should be based out of your soul. Don't act in on those aggravation energies. The thing is, as the moon, it's gonna move. It's gonna create the yacht, the divine timing. And when the moon is activating this divine timing, the first is going to begin activating the yacht between Venus and Saturn. That is going to be the limitations of love. A very, very important part when you find out that you limitate yourself to do the right things about love and how that should be activated in a physical level as a Capricorn, that you have to be used the professional way, you to be your truth. And this limitation is going to be teaching you of what you did wrong and what and how to fix the situations that's going on into. Usually those are the part that it's divine timing comes in. It's going to be quick, fast, and it's going to be kind of like a screaming on your soul. And listen to it. Listen to it because of the moon is going to square this, and it's going to create what it's called T-square. Now, how are you going to reacting on this of your physical standpoint point of view, of your ego, of your selfishness? Um, it is about you to trust the visions here of the blue lines that's been going on for a while, or you're going to do the total opposite part, and you're going to do the more mess in your life. And you have also an opportunity to do the right things into. This will be at 10 o'clock p.m. on Thursday. So some of you will gonna have visions, dreams, however you want to call it. Life will give you whatever experience is the most helpful for the evolution of your consciousness. And that's what this is coming up into it during the night. Some of you may be going to experience some things that they are far beyond your understanding, but you need to trust that it's all about to fix your consciousness, to fix your things that you never kind of fix it, just so you can fit into the society. Friday, which is going to be at 4 a.m., which is that's how it will go. The moon will create another yacht, and that is going to be between Mercury and Saturn. That is going to be the time that you're going to be awake at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning with a weird dream or weird voice in you that is going to be like, oh my God, what's going on? What is this all about? Into. Usually this is happened when it says like, hey, you're determined to have a new life. This is determinant of what you need to do. This is the situation of what's going on, because now you see how you create your own life. I'm going to show you how the life was created for you. And during this period, some of you will begin to question their own life, their own positions in life. Again, to be very, very careful right here. If you listen again, your ego, you're gonna be preventing your growth. You're gonna stand against yourself into, and also this T-squares is still gonna go on. So be careful what energies you're gonna be using. You're either gonna use the positive or the negative, but you're gonna be example. And the example, it's the one that's gonna lead you to realizing the things in your consciousness into. Also on Friday, that's going to be at 10 o'clock in the morning, the moon is moving more into Gemini. Will create a different yacht. That's going to be between Mercury and Pluto. That is going to be the time when you have to look at the stuff of your surrounding, your peers, your friends, your relatives, anything that it's around you, co-workers, if you want to add it into it. And again, it's gonna be the same energy. You just gotta be working on different things throughout those periods, throughout the day. And the energy is gonna be focused again. You're gonna be positive or a negative experience. It's always gonna be depending on you. Um, as you see it here, these oppositions against Venus and the sun, that is going to be the time that you're going to be feel like the universe, it's kind of like a give up on you. Nobody likes you. You may gonna experience a depression. That is the part of you to look deep into Venus, to look at your own darkness. What did you did wrong? And don't depending on others to give you love if you don't have the love inside of you on it. So Saturday, all that positions for the divine timing, it's going to go away. The thing's going to move into the family. That's the 16 year of your life, and 10 you add another 12 years and whatever you are into. Um, the moon is going to trigger Mars. Your aggravations of the things that you didn't did right, the things that you didn't act on it. You were a chicken or you man up. And some of you is gonna be feel this inner pressure of aggravations because that squaring here, it's gonna begin more active and active, and it's gonna begin piles up over the time. If you trust the sun and you trust the universe, things gonna be perfect for you. You trust in your ego and what others telling you what to do, which is throughout the square here. You gotta be very, very careful how you choose your roads from now on into. As you see, this it's gonna be, as I said, for a while. The vision of how you have to act as a soul is gonna come up all the time, so you can do your inner work of removing the stuff into. That's gonna be like a daily menu, like somebody delivers the same dish over and over and over. And the purpose of spiritual evolution is to remove the blockages that cause your fear. Fear, it's actually limitations of your own self. Fear of what the others will do. That is a kind of like a assumption of what others will do about if you're your true self into. And when you face your fears, you overcome them, and you see that the people acting completely different than what you assume, then you understand that part of the fear. You have to act the way you're supposed to act as a soul that got a heart and creates actions through the body into it, not from a fear. If you have a lot of fear, then if you're watching Star Wars, you're gonna understand that the fear leads to suffering into it. I didn't say that, Yoda did. Um, and a Sunday, which is gonna be a week from now, a very important part right here, the moon in Cancer, it's gonna create the emotions because you are in the cardinal sign of the emotions into to the family. And there's gonna be this T-square with Mars. Be careful what you do with your family. Be careful what you do about things that it's related to your family on it. Um, don't go out there and try to tell the people that they limit you. They do things, they do that. You limit it yourself, but you suppressing the things that you had to do on your own. Very good kite in here. Usually during those kites, that is the time when you learn how to fly. You learn how to go ahead and release everything that needs you, and you just let yourself into the divine timing. You let yourself into it. And this is how the whole inner work from the week that you did is going to be giving you kind of like a aftermath situations of what you need to do in your family, what you need to do in the part if you are at work and you are into your life as what you present into it. The moon controls the emotions, but also creates the vibration field of what you need to focus. If you have like a watch, this is the arrow that shows up the seconds of what's going on. But since the move's too slow, then we see it into. So focus on the right things inside of you. Don't look at about your fears. Your fears are your fears. They're yours. You have to deal with them. Don't blame others about your fears. Blame yourself if you have to. But be careful and nice to yourself, because if nobody else is nice to you, you have to be nice for yourself. Nobody loves you, you have to love yourself. And that's how you're going to learn that love. The masculine part, this squaring here in a position on it, be very, very careful. You can damage your partnerships, you can damage your relationships because of lies. And the lies, when they comes out, they do crazy actions. So the best thing is you be honest, to see what you did wrong, trust your limitations, and seek the visions. The visions that gonna comes in from Neptune is gonna be very powerful about how to restructure the things of your life for better life. Thank you for watching the astrology report, and now I'm looking for your comments. Be love. Good luck.